It's that time again. Again. A new split is here, and with it comes some changes. Not as much as usual, but there are still some things to talk about. With this split, they are focusing on lots of item and rune changes. I think this is a great thing for Poppy. So many matchups were decided by items, and nerfing them will give Poppy a lot more chances to shine. Plus, they're focusing less nerfs on tank items, so I think this split will be the split for Poppy. With that said, let's start off with the most important changes, and that is the change to Poppy's tank items. First, I want to bring up the most important change. Iceborn Gauntlet is back, baby. They are increasing the price by 400 gold, but the Spellblade damage is going from 100% to 150% AD damage. That is huge. Iceborn was a core item back in the Mythic item days. This season it's been kinda alright, but now it's gonna be the go-to item in almost every AD matchup in top lane. Those shield toss Iceborn grass procs are gonna hurt. Next is Sunfire Cape. We're looking at an initial burn damage increase, but less bonus HP scaling, which is great. I thought the early damage was bad on Sunfire, so this will probably be the second rush item in AD matchups. The same changes go for Hollow Radiance for those pesky AP matchups as well. Frozen Heart is getting an armor buff, but losing its iconic Rock Solid passive, which makes me think, why? Thornmail is losing a bunch of HP, but gaining a lot more armor at a lower cost. Force of Nature is losing some move speed. Spirit Visage is a little cheaper and gives a little less HP and MR, but still a good option for Immortal Poppy builds. Deadman's is getting health and armor increase, but losing initial move speed and ramp up move speed. That's not great, but it will still be essential for support and jungle Poppy. Overall, tank items are looking super good this split, Iceborn and Sunfire especially. It's gonna feel like last season Poppy, and I am super excited for it. Next, let's look at Bruiser items. These are the biggest changes to Poppy's build. Definitely a lot of core items for Poppy were hit here, so let's go through them. Eclipse is losing 10 AD and gaining a 100 gold increase. Not too bad, it should still be really good, just not as good as it used to be. Sundered Sky is the one other item Bruiser Poppy loved. It's losing a little AD, haste, and health, and the healing proc is going from 120% AD to 100%. This hurts, but like I said earlier, Iceborn will be your new go-to item if you want to do damage in lanes, so out with the old and in with the old. Chainsword is getting an all-around price and stat nerf. This is a very situational item. I really only built it into like Mundo and Warwick lanes. Shouldn't be too much to worry about. Black Cleaver is losing 15 AD. Holy cow, that's a little silly. But in a way, really good for tank Poppy. I feel like if your opponent builds Cleaver, it's just over for you in lane, so this will be nice. Spear of Shojin is losing 10 AD and 20 haste, but gaining 150 HP and 10 more haste on basic abilities. Other than that, Sterix is losing a lot actually. A lot of bonus AD, and the HP shield is way smaller. Overlords is losing some AD but gaining more HP. I really only build this with Heartsteel matches, but it's worth mentioning. Lastly, let's look at Lethality items. Honestly, I was worried about Lethality Poppy. You already need to play perfect for Lethality Poppy to work, and I was worried that item nerfs wouldn't give her enough damage to burst. But they're really actually not reducing the damage on hardly any Lethality items. It's all haste and move speed nerfs. So Lethality Poppy may actually be better than before, especially with all the other durability items nerfed. Opportunity and Collector are the only Lethality Poppy items getting a small damage nerf. Other than that, there are some small boot changes. I'll just show them. They're pretty tiny and not worth going over. Rune-wise, Shield Bash is getting a change, and it no longer grants bonus resistances when you have a shield, but instead the bonk proc hits a little harder. Honestly, really good for laning phase. And that's about it. TLDR, Tank Poppy looking real spicy with Iceborn buffs, so rush that first into almost all matchups, and you should be good. Of course, we won't know until testing is done, but there aren't really that many changes, and I can kind of predict how everything's going to be. Overall, aside from Iceborn, our builds aren't really changing at all. Yeah, so that's all for this video, and we will see you later for more bonky goodness. Goodbye. But they're really not actually reducing any damage on hardly any of the... That doesn't make any fucking sense. Opportunity and Collector are the only Lethality Poppy... I need water. Fuck. Hydration, bitches. Let's see, where was I?